Well, hello, everybody. It is the Dennis and Andy show with another exciting, titillating movie review in a few. If you're new to the show, that's where we take a movie that we saw last night. This time it was the new Exorcist movie. And the first 5 to 6 minutes of the show, we just review it. No spoilers. We go into as much as you've seen in the trailer, and that's it. We give it our grade. We pause for a few seconds, put the graphic back up, come back, full-blown spoiler review for about 15 minutes. So you'll know when to leave if you don't want spoilers. And if you don't care, hang around. All right. So the actual full title is The Exorcist what? New Beginning or something?
Nope, Believer.
Believer, that's it.
Well, obviously this movie had a high impact on Andy because
No, you know my memory. If you're a long watcher of this show, you will realize that even walking out of the movie last night, I'm like, The Exorcist, New Beginnings? I mean, that's almost what it felt like to me.
Yeah, they turned this into an actual sequel. And with the synopsis, you can tell by the trailer, 2 girls disappear, they're friends from school. They return 3 days later, which will have some meaning in the movie, with no memory of what happens to them. And the father is the one who seeks out Chris MacNeil. So she's back. Yes, Ellen Burstyn is back for the first time since the original. And she's going to try and help find out, what happened and altered the girl, the girl's lives and what's in them.
Yeah, so like Dennis said, even though there's 2 girls in this movie, the father and the single father of the black girl, they seem more like the main cast. You think in a movie like this, it would be a little more balanced between the families. The other family of the other girl, they are very religious, church-going people. The father, the single father, is not very religious and stuff, which kind of gets explained in the movie. And well, it does get explained. Shouldn't say kind of. And so out of the gate, the girls are gone for the 3 days. You see that in the trailer. You ask them, they're like, "What? It's been 2 hours." I mean, not that nonchalant, but that's the gist. And I'll be honest, the beginning of the movie, it's an hour and 51 minutes. I thought the beginning of the movie was a little slow. And I know they had to do the build up, but it just felt to me that it kind of logged along. And then it was like, oh crap, there's only, a half hour left. Oh, we better get to the exorcism and get to the good stuff and wrap this up because we're on a clock here. That's how it felt to me. What about you?
Kind of along those lines. The beginning of the movie I thought was very well done because it did a nice job of setting up the relation between Victor and his girl Angela. And you get to find out, as the movie progresses, what happened, how she was born, what happened to mother, because that's a central theme. It is interesting because the other family, like you said, I don't even think they got a last name in the entire movie. They were just this other characters that also were going through it, and he was a bit of a hothead. She was a religious believer. And that was one of the ties in with this movie is, everything was about, everybody's got belief systems of some sort, and they all kind of come together in different ways trying to combat evil. And the slowness in the beginning was fine because it did a nice job of setting up the family dynamics in the Fielding family, but it was really lacking on anybody else's character other than the neighbor. She's the nurse, Mrs. Dowd. And, and it was like all of a sudden, I agree with you. holy crap, we're almost out. All right, we need special effects. We need boom, 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 and hop
Right.
in there. And they missed huge opportunities.
Yeah, and I'm not I wasn't a clock watcher or a watcher, whatever, during this movie, but because of how it felt slow, there was a point where I'm like, this thing's got to be getting near the end, and they haven't even begun like the exorcism stuff. So I did look at my watch, and I'm like, oh my God, there's like 20-25 minutes left, and that's when they finally got to it. And Dennis is right. I mean, once again, I mean, the special effects, you've got to hit a home run with the technology today in special effects, and they did. The special effects were great.
Most of it was all practical. I bet all of it was. There was very little other than, where you'll see an image and it just disappears and stuff. But almost everything was practical effects. They looked really good. The dad, Leslie Odom Jr., I thought he was a great father. I thought the girls, for what they were on, were good. Ann Dowd, the lady who played her, she was fine, but she was really the only other character developed out of anybody.
Yeah. You didn't even know what once again, my memory, so correct me if I'm wrong, you don't even know what the mom and dad of the other girl do for a living.
Not at all.
Yeah, we got a taste of what Victor does for a living. Excuse me, but the other parents weren't fleshed out at all.
Right.
So
then, you've got the pastor, you've got the father that winds up coming in, when they're wind up having to do all this stuff. You got this earthy lady who deals in belief systems from way back when. She's in it.
I mean, she's like,
again, a hint of her, but you don't get.
Yeah, you don't get. She comes across, she comes across like a witch doctor.
So, but the highlight really is Ellen Burstyn is what I wanted to see it for. I stayed up and watched the original Exorcist just so it was fresh in my mind, because I was like, man, I still remember that movie. It was very, very impactful. And they paid her a crap ton of money to be in this. And she didn't want to be in it. She's turned down every role, and there's a reason why. They paid her so much money, she turned them down 3 times, and there's a reason. She didn't want to be in it. Her role was pathetic. She didn't even need to be. And honestly, they should have not even turned this into, it shouldn't have even been an Exorcist movie. They could have built a standalone and been far more successful.
Yeah, with the type of movies with possession and stuff that are out now, you could have slapped a different title on this and it would have worked. So let's give it our rating, and then we'll move on.
A lot to talk about after.
All right, you go first this time. I think I went last time, so
I am giving this a 5.5. It's a totally a meh. The beginning of the movie, I thought it had some nice setup. I enjoyed the characters. They were building into something, and the moment they got into the possessions, and there's so much for me to talk about that, it went right downhill. So 5.5. I wouldn't waste your money to go see it in the theater. I would wait till it hops on HBO, Showtime, Netflix, something.
I am giving it a 6.0. And Dennis, in my world of math, when you average 6.0 and 5.5, you get this.
Oh! Yeah. Well, I'm curious. So give me 1 second while we're doing it. IMDb is giving it a 5.2, so it is there. And I usually say IMDb usually is a little bit lower that on there. And no audience score yet for Rotten Tomatoes. Another one. It's like they're holding them back for some reason the last month. But the tomato meter for the critics, 21%.
Oh shit. Well, there you go, guys. Dennis and I gave it a 6 and a 5.5, which basically roughs out to a 5.5. So and you see what IMDb and the critics think. They're actually on point. You could save it for the small screen. The effects are nice, but they're nothing you need to see on the big screen. So check that. We are going to do the spoiler review. If you're leaving because you don't want to hear spoilers, Kor-Drath, The Reckoning comes down October 16th, so a little over a week. Budroot's 4-page story is now complete. So once we get to 100K, that'll be included in the book just to show you guys. I usually save this for the end, but in case you're leaving us, there is the 4th page of his story. All 4 pages. Oh, we can roll through them. 1, 2, 3, and 4 will be included in the book. Once we reach 100K, we're over 93 when you combine both totals of both campaigns. Don't let the Indiegogo totals fool you. We're over 93. So there it is.